know that Richard Wagner is celebrating his 100th birthday these days, and I took this as an opportunity to make a sort of unpolite deconstruction of his music, which I found very unbearable. I'm not a Wagner music fan, on the contrary, but I think that the music has a lot of emotional energy, and I wanted to even emphasize this in a very different way, in a more deconstructive way.
The question I had with the visuals in your piece was, I don't know if you partly answered that through the reference to Wagner, but the use of the seemingly quite political images through that visualization. I wanted if you could speak to that a little bit and what the intention was with the sound.
当然，那位先生他问的就是说，除了就是关于华格纳之外，因为我想他问这个问题的原因是因为华格纳本身就是一个非常具有政治倾向的音乐家，所以他就另外在问，就是说他的影像当中出现了非常多就是非常具有政治意涵的一些的标语，然后他把它就是视觉化，然后他想要希望就是艺术家在这个部分是不是可以再多谈谈一点。
To make a good question short, I'm personally not so much interested in telling stories. The images that you have seen are based on a computer program that I wrote with my own photos. It's a generative computer program that creates a sort of film out of stills or photos. And there are a collection of photos with different meanings, with texts, with structures, with faces, with devices and architecture. But there is no specific meaning behind it. But the meaning is constructed by the listener, by the observer in the moment of the performance. And this is the interesting thing, that the visuals are completely independent from the music, but my experience is that they often connect with each other, because they use the same ideas about processes at random, which is also a very important aspect in the music that I play. So in the music, this is a sort of machine computer interaction, computer-human interaction. So the machine, also a computer program that I wrote, is constantly presenting suggestions to me, and I have to fight against it, or beat against it, and try to put it in another direction. So this is the reason why I'm making a sort of dance movement. It's not superficial, but it's necessary for me to channel energy into the computer, so to speak, and create a sound that is a directly transformation of body energy.
The first question is about the continuations, about why do you use the classic music as the important element in your performance. And he thinks classical music somehow is something stuff related to academic institution. And do you think there any kind of deficiency about the academic institutions, and maybe this kind of deficiencies be the main reasons why you use classical music in your performance? And the second question is about...
Maybe one question. I answered the first question about the academic aspects of classical music. Well, as I told you before, what I was doing today is exception. I'm not using classical music in my performances. And there was 3 pieces. The first and last was with the music of Richard Wagner, classical composer. But the middle piece uses something very different. It used a small instrument from Africa, a so-called kalimba, and everything you heard is just a processing of what I'm playing live in respect to the computer that creates something out of it, which I can control in any aspect. For me, classical music is one type of music that I like to research or also to deconstruct. But it's for me just a material which is charged with a lot of meaning, historical meaning, relationships to other composers. And in the process of deconstruction, I try to look behind the surfaces of the mere sounding.
The second question is of the body movement that you are performing. I'm thinking that what is the difference between the movement between, like, interaction between the instrument and between the computer? what is able to improvise between them and what is said that you are not able to like interact immediately. I think there's a different. Yes.
不好意思 ，sorry。这位先生他的问题就是他在询问就是说关于就是他的回到他的身体，就是他的身体跟那个电脑之间的关系是什么，然后哪些是在这个创作的即席的过程之前就已经被 set up 好了，然后哪些不是即席的，然后还有些他好奇的是有关于就是那个电脑，然后还有就是他即席就是手有不同的滑动，然后产生不同的音乐效果的这个部分。
Well, in fact, it's a big difference whether you're playing on a physical instrument like the kalimba, where you really have an immediate response by touching or scratching or plucking. When I'm working with the computer with my pedal and my MIDI controller, the control is on an abstract level. So I'm not shaping the sound like a sculpture, but I'm shaping compositional parameters. So this is on a different abstraction level, and it's not very intuitive, so it needs a lot of practice to make it more or less intuitive and independent of your brain. But this is the thing that I have to practice a lot in order to get into a sort of flow where I don't think about this is this parameter and this is this thing. Everything should be more or less directly connected to my fingers and from the fingers to my ear.